When they're displaced, they have to go and try and find new country to live in. And on the way, they get run over by cars, they get attacked by dogs. When animals lose their habitat, then they have to try and fit into what's left. And so they're up fighting with, koalas fighting koalas, wallabies fighting wallabies, and it doesn't end nicely. Someone has to go because their habitat's shrinking all the time. And it's all because of the very weak controls we're left with after the Newman LNP government, in their own words, took the axe to the land clearing laws several years ago. And those laws, the present government tried to change the laws back again, but were frustrated last year, weren't able to do so, and so we've still got these laws. I mean, they're terrible. Urban development is one thing. It's terrible, but at least there's some controls there. At least they have to have some mitigations. They have to have maybe a spotter catcher. But most clearing in Queensland isn't like that. There's no mitigations. There's no requirements. You can just fire the bulldozer up and knock over forest, and you don't even have to apply for a permit. In the last year, there's 400,000 hectares in Queensland has been flagged or committed to bulldozing, and they don't have to even apply for a permit. That's as of right. You can just do it. All you have to do is tell the government you're doing it, right? Isn't that shocking? You don't have to go and salvage the animals and prevent them from being killed and run over or hurt. You don't have to do any of that. You just fire with the bulldozer and go out. You don't have to offset it, right? You don't have to provide an offset for what you've bulldozed. You just bulldoze it. And those are the legacy laws that Campbell Newman and his colleagues left us from the left government. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. I've done an estimate here in Ipswich. It's completely unnecessary. And you look at it and you think, well, why is this happening? Why is it even happening like this? We still have intact forest, wildlife habitat still being bulldozed, koalas still being displaced and killed, wallabies, cockatoos, goannas, all the wildlife that we, I'm sure, treasure, all of us treasure. It's part of our heritage, it's part of our identity, it's part of our what we appreciate about the area where we live, is the wildlife that also share the space with us. It's unforgivable in Ipswich because I've just calculated, and this is again a new figure that I've just come up with. I didn't invent it. This is based on estimates. I just looked at all the already cleared land, long cleared land around Ipswich, right? I looked at 1 kilometre around all the existing urban and developed areas and say, well, just one long kilometre away, it's already cleared. That'd be suitable for housing, for new housing. Why don't they put the new housing there? Why don't they develop that? You know how many houses you could have if you did that? 450,000 new houses. Not on little lots like Jim was saying, 600 metre squared lots. So you could have whole suburbs out there. You don't have to go knock over virgin bush. There's 450,000 houses worth of opportunity that you could have. Why do they have to go and knock over virgin bush? Why do they have to do it? It's just unforgivable when you've got this opportunity. Instead, no, I just want to go knock over that virgin bush, knock over that habitat, displace all the koalas, kill all the wallabies. Why? And how does the governments who are supposed to be looking after us, after the public interest, why do they seem all the time to be only doing the bidding of vested interests, right? Why is it always that way around? When their job, the job that they've got, the job that they're supposed to be doing is looking after our interest, the public interest, right? How is that? How is it always like that? And it will be like that unless we stand up, unless we get together and say, no, we want you to look after our interests, not the developers, not the industries out there. You're supposed to be regulating in our interest, not the other way around. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Martin. Folks, while you're thinking about that, keep in mind that we do need to, it's great listening to the speakers that we have here today, and it's great everybody talking amongst yourselves about this, but we need to keep the ball rolling on this. So please do put your name down if you want to, and sign the petition in relation to an ICAC inquiry. Look, these things won't just go away. They won't go away because we just met today. As much as it was a great idea to meet and now we can start something, we need to actually keep this going. So please do consider signing that petition. We really are going to make, there's not just ourselves here in Ipswich, there are groups and ratepayers organisations all over Queensland at the moment who are actually all talking about this very same issue and who are all looking to the state government to take responsibility and to appoint an ICAC style inquiry into local government across Queensland. Ipswich has become the template almost for corruption and relationships between developers and councillors and developers and planning and development departments, and that needs to be looked into right across Queensland. But this is ground zero here in Ipswich, so we need to be seen to be the ones who are pushing the state government to start with to get this ICAC inquiry going. Okay, so still waiting just for one of our speakers, so a little bit of a reorganisation. So I'm going to ask Daniel Thompson to come up and say a few words on behalf of his family and the traditional owners of their area.
You'll have to excuse me, guys. I'm new to this type of stuff, so I've got to have paper.
It's all good, Dan.
Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. My name is Daniel Thompson. My family know me as Champ. That's what my grandfather nicknamed me. Just going to do a quick welcome to country. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're gathered on today, which is the Yuggera people, which is my people. Also like to pay respects to the elders past and present. And the reason for me being here today, in short, is because they've been disrespected through council, development, and basically everything in the area. You might ask how exactly I am Yuggera. Well, I'm going to explain a bit of my family history. So my father's name is Raymond Thompson. His father is Colin Thompson. Colin's father was Harry Thompson Jr. and his father was Harry Thompson Sr., who was of a tribal name. Didn't have much contact with European people until he was moved to Deben Creek. He went on to marry a woman by the name of Amy Turner. She also of an Aboriginal name from the area. She is the daughter of King Billy Turner, who was chief of tribal subdivision all of Yuggera country. Our country starts from the bottom of the Toowoomba Range, so that's as far west, goes as far north as Esk, as far south as Fassifern and Boona, and it also goes as far east as Oxley. And I just want to make it clear that Springfield is definitely within our tribal boundaries, and it belongs to my ancestors, nobody else. Both my grandparents were born at Perga Aboriginal Mission, which is just out this way. My grandfather served in PNG proudly before our people were given the right to vote. My nan, Doreen Davison, who isn't a traditional owner to this area, worked tirelessly in the early years to set up what is now known as the Cambu Medical Centre. In the early days, Aboriginal people who were sick in the area would go to the family home on William Street at Coal Falls, and the doctors would attend there and help our people that way. Her love and respect for people in general, not just Aboriginal people, but the broader community, is something that won't be forgotten in the area. So I ummed and ahed about how I was going to word this for a while. I could go off with a whole heap of names, but I'm going to leave that's to be continued, and it will be continued, I can assure you that. Just a couple of questions for you guys. I know what's happened at the area, and we now know as Springfield Land Corporation, or Springfield in general. The broader community are saying that it was unwanted land. It was part of a sign-off 25 years ago, and my people were never made aware of it. So
Shame on the council.
that's
Shame on council.
that's where it is, and it's Jim, Mitch, copped a flogging the other day. Coppers didn't do nothing. Well, you know, here's a man. He comes from a different background from me, but I call him brother out of respect. He's of Irish descent, of course. That's why he took the flogging real good. But yeah, I've got a lot of respect for this man and his father, because they've put emphasis on the wildlife, and not only that, the animals. The animals are part of who we are. They make up our stories, and thanks for that, brother. It means a lot. Just quickly, the speakers that already spoke did a great job. It's obvious there's a lot of development in the area. Council like developing, they like developers, goes without saying. If they're going to develop so much, do they want to deal with the traditional owners who have respect for the country and links to the country? Or do they want to deal with somebody who's saying they're the traditional owners and taking the money all the time?
Bringing in the wrong people.
That's it.
That's right. Yep.
And at the end of the day, my people are short on positions here, dying here. The money they're accumulating, we'll have a look where their office is. It's not here. It's not on our country.
Gold Coast.
Well said, Daniel.
They're living in mansions on the canals, mate. That's where they are.
That's right.
The last thing I want to touch on is Deben Creek Aboriginal Reserve. So they're telling us that's it, Queensland South, all the same, all one of the same. We own it. I said, well, how do you own it? We want proof. We're sick of getting the runaround. So at the moment they're looking at building a rail basically over the top of our ancestors who were massacred on that side as well.
They've already built